All right, so
playing poker.
But so since Sheriff Wayne has found out about M's condition, of course he was a stalwart by the law. How does it change him?
How's that one?
How does it change him?
Yeah.
His daughter now.
I mean, it's a lot when you find out that your daughter died, especially when you've been taking a very sort of somewhat, well, in people's opinions, fairly radical stand, and then suddenly your daughter is one of the ones, and so where does that, now your reasoning goes out the window, and it was awkward, to say the least, and certainly threw a wrench in all my arguments, and that whole house of cards comes down and continues to fall, and the episode's coming up. There's all kinds of new things that even more reveals that continue to push old Sheriff Cypress into a corner with no one at his side.
For me, it was like really exciting.
So your character has a very kind of complex relationship with both of his daughters, and in some ways he's kind of
giving a message.
He knows them, but he knows them from a very specific time frame in their lives. Like knew them as teenagers, but they're now older and grown. Can you tell me more about how the relationship is going to evolve over the rest of the season?
Well, yeah, they view him one way. They, along with the audience, get to see, his soft white underbelly, if you will. They get to see stuff that he hoped he would never have to deal with. And so there are, like I was saying earlier, sort of just touched upon, is that there's some more reveals that come out that are very uncomfortable for old Wayne, and challenge his relationship with his daughters. Now I have 2 kids of my own who are grown, and so that's they're separating, right? They separate from you as mine are here, and M's the last. She's the baby of the family, and I find out, she's always been challenged in my mind as somebody that needed heavy protection, and then I find out that she's one of them. That's devastating. Devastating.
And prior to the reveal, did you feel like Wayne was kind of enjoying the way things were going, or was it still kind of from that point standpoint?
Well, he just felt. I think he was comfortable in taking a strong stand. That's what they expect of a sheriff, somebody who's sort of commanding the town. And then this just threw a wrench into the works of everything that he was, everything he understood. He's a pretty black and white guy and is used to, things being very regimented, and then suddenly he's not sure how to, everywhere he steps, he seems to step in it, if you will, and, he can't seem to do anything right. And so he's playing catch up, and it's not going well for him. He's drowning.
And I will say, as a testament to David telling Wayne that the black and white character that Wayne is, like, you're also, because you haven't seen it, but I'll tell you, it's so great how you sort of travel into the gray area, and how you're quite sort of like at odds with your own way of thinking. And we see that as we continue along the series, and that's a cool thing to see Wayne shift his perspective and the way that he thinks, because now he's directly involved in what is
right. We wind up. We all sort of converge, and without, it's so hard to know, because I don't watch. Because when I watch, all I see are mistakes, right? And so I just anyway. Andy watches.
I'm a big fan.
And we're a big fan of you. So Ibrahim really represents this cross section of scientific reasoning and vulnerability. So how is that to kind of play throughout the series?
Again, this goes back to the idea that everybody gets along so well. So it's like, there's one thing to say that you learn the lines, you get to work, and you sort of like play within the boundaries of what you're given. Obviously, Ibrahim is like, he feels like there are no boundaries for him to a point. Obviously, he is a man of science. But we see later he becomes tested with that also, with regards to his own faith. But I do think that, like, because of his care and his sort of I said earlier, the first scene we shot was the one where Dana's, he thinks she's dead in bed in the hospital, and so everything he does from that point on is driven by his sort of resolve to save Dana and to always be on her side. And so I think that's where his scientist brain, much like Wayne directly being involved with them being his daughters, they are all traveling this morally gray area that they've never traveled before, which is cool to see because it, like, you know, also builds that ensemble together, which makes us all
Right, all our beliefs are being challenged,
exactly.
really, in this thing,
which is cool.
which is fun to play and
for the show.
A lot of conflict.
Yeah.
Both of your characters throughout the first 7 episodes that we've seen live have been extremely tested. You know, you each have faced some interesting challenges, but from a personal standpoint, what would you say was the most challenging for you guys to film?
I hope people like the show, but if they don't, I'm alive.
Well, they were all challenging in their way. I mean, I got really sick for like 2 weeks. That made it very challenging to film. All of my heavy emotional stuff was in that period, and then I lost my voice. I just had to loop. I mean, it was brutal. Hours and hours of looping to redo all that dialogue. So that was challenging. The weather could be challenging because we shot in New Brunswick, Canada, which is I'd never been to before, but you know, it's in eastern part of Canada, way up north of Maine, and that's challenging.
It's not like this.
It's not like very similar, yeah.
Welcome to the East Coast.
You know, and when we first got there, because we're playing winter in Wausau, so it was beautiful and hot, and we're wearing winter coats. And then when winter came, the coats weren't enough of a winter coat, so that was always a challenge.
Everywhere.
You know, and then he had these guys. I guess we all did, but I wasn't involved as much as in seeing the alien character. I mean, you're playing something that's not there. You know, green screen or lights or however they were affecting that on your side. So, you know, there's all of those challenges, and then
certainly is like interesting because we didn't shoot it in order either.
No.
So there's something to say, like our first scene was the hospital scene with Dana in the bed, and Romy, and myself doing this scene together from episode 5. So there's like some challenge to that, but also, again, like I said earlier, it's a happy accident because it's sort of indicative of what comes before and what comes after. Whereas sometimes you don't get that, and you get to the 5th episode if you're block shooting, you're like, damn it, I wish I knew this sooner because I could have made a choice in episode 2. Yeah.
That was we shot 5 episodes at a time. I'd never done that before, which is really challenging because you're going, well, how much do I know at this point? You're all, and you don't always have time, and sometimes they'll drop a scene, add one. So, you know, thankfully the writers are usually very close, if not right there, so they'd be on the phone or in their face going,
because we got to episode 7 was like my last day of shooting was episode 7 where he finds out that M is a reviver, and that's after shooting everything, and we're both there being like, wait a minute, what? He just finds out in this scene, and that's 7 in, like it's wild. I just thought of that when you said yes. Episode 7, last day of shooting is December 7th or something. Wild.
Yeah, I was wondering, in that scene where in episode 6 at the end where Jordan is taken by the passenger, and you're just looking at, you know, some prop or something, and you have that single tear. Like, where did you go, and how did you get just that single tear, like that emotion, while you're looking at some sort of prop?
roll it.
No, that was actually because honestly,
You can pull up one. Do it now.
I did do it. I would do it. It was a mixture of like playing a bunch of takes, and also I'll have to say, Flora, who plays Jordan, also was on the other side of that too. She's so sweet and she's so authentic, and it was very, you know, getting that on the opposite side to kind of gave me the sort of like groundwork to figure out how to play that scene. That was the last take of the night, we were like, let's just go for it. Samir, who directed, is a friend of mine. I feel very comfortable with him. We were just like, let's just do a fuck it take. Sorry, but that's what we call it. So we're like, let's see what happens.
Best time.
And that's the best. That's the most fun.
All right.
That's it.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, we're going to swap you guys out to the first.